Hey everyone, welcome back to the 12 Palaces, and let's just continue on in level 4, Palace of Fire. So again, we skipped a couple levels already, because I'm going to be coming back to them later. So let's start going through this level, and right off the bat you can actually bomb to the left, and I'll leave that alone for later. Alright, so I'll talk about these just a bit. So you have to explore as much as you can first. And again, these blocks are here to tell you that you can't... Don't try to bomb to the right in this case. Solid blocks there. Well, at least they're being somewhat obvious with that. You don't have to waste all your bombs. Alright, so pick up the compass. Okay, so this level has a bit of a gimmick to it. Actually, there's one thing I want to note about this type of room. Unfortunately, I think this is with ZC 2.5 maybe, the more recent versions. This type of room has enemy respawn, so it's going to be kind of annoying. But with this room, there is a hint right next to where you start the game, like that one of those pay for information things. It tells you to kind of wait in these types of rooms. It takes like 20 seconds, and then it teleports you to another spot. So you're gonna find a number of these rooms scattered throughout the game. Alright, so heading on to the left, you find your map. Find a lot of these weird candle torch things. Alright, so the map is in the shape of... I'm not sure if that's maybe a bomb, or I guess it could be a flame, or some other stuff you could think about. Anyway. Okay, so good thing we got the white sword. Gives us a little more firepower to use. So it's kind of a linear path through this, each room getting more and more difficult, more enemies. Long range is very helpful if you can keep your sword beams. It really does pay off. Again, this room here gets actually very tricky. A lot of enemies to deal with. And again, you can't block any fireballs. Just kind of annoying. So after you get through that room, alright, you get your first Hole's voice. Take a lot of hits with your sword, but at least it's not a wooden sword, so that'll take even longer. Now I do have that extra key, but I'm gonna go through this assuming you start with 0 keys, because again, you don't get surplus keys in this game. Assuming you don't buy a key. Okay, going to this room. This room can be a real issue, because you gotta be able to take everything out before you run out of time. And unfortunately, you can't just re-enter the room because everything respawns the moment you enter the room again. So you basically have like 20 seconds to clear out this room and pick up the key. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to use the warp there, because you're otherwise trapped. So you're gonna have to work your way around this little obstacle course a few times over the course of this level. Which can be kind of annoying. So it does get a little bit repetitive going through this place. voice, though. Alright, it's this room that can get really annoying because of how crowded this is. Cleared that one up pretty nicely. Alright, so now we can actually go down. Oh, so this room, this is kind of a loop, so if you go to the right, it leads to a one-way path, so you can't go that way. So you actually have to go down. So see the one-way path, so this one lets you go to the right. Alright, so you want to go down first, because there's some goodies to pick up in this room. So you can pick up the extra key. Yeah, there's a lot of garbage in this room. So, again, you don't have to actually beat these enemies, because the key is already sitting there. But might as well just clear out as much as you can. So, again, if you were to go right for that other path, you're gonna find this is actually a one-way door. You can only go left. Alright, now that we have our extra key, going to this room that has some flames, and you wonder why they don't light up the room themselves. It's kind of odd. Oh, thank goodness for Mercy invincibility there. I'm getting some lucky dodges here. Seriously. Although I was getting a lot of refills anyway. Okay, so you don't want to go down. It leads you back to the beginning. So you actually want to go left. And this room can be a pain in the butt because you have to get rid of all these enemies in 20 seconds. If you need to use bombs, go right ahead. Use bombs. If you can get out of that room quickly. Alright, so this room. You gotta clear out all the enemies in there. Yeah, a lot of Pole's voice in this room. Unfortunately, you don't have a bow. So just, dodge the best you can. Alright, so after you clear out this room... Yeah, go figure, you get the bow in this place. And you saw all these Pole's voice. Alright, so pick up the bow. And actually we have to go back to the start of the level. Because, going left leads to the boss, but we have no boss key yet. So, I have to backtrack. And this is where it gets a little annoying because, again, you have to take out everything in this room again. Alright, so now you want to go back down to the start of the level. And we didn't go left before, and because you couldn't do that. I mean, you could go down here, but you couldn't do anything with this room. And And you'll see this weird obstacle that you probably saw before. And you need your bow, or at least a shoot an arrow to get rid of that obstacle. And pick up the boss key. And after the level, you'll know what to do. You'll know where to go. Before that, let me just clear out this room. It has a bunch of Pole's voice that, wait till you get your bow and arrow. I mean, all it is money, so... So it wasn't like a small key or something, so you didn't have to do it right off the bat. Alright, so we're gonna have to go through the entire kind of obstacle course of rooms again. Because there's no shortcut back to the boss. Yep, so you're gonna do all this again. At least you got a bow and arrow. At least it gives you some range. So you don't need, if you lose your sword beams, at least you have something to counter. Yeah, this gets a little bit monotonous. Getting a clock is helpful. You can pretty much clear out most of this room. And just kind of retrace your steps back through this place. At least you're picking up extra cash. And you're gonna have to go through this room again. Yeah, don't be afraid to use arrows in this room. Whatever it takes to get through this room quickly. And the good thing with a bow and arrows, it actually goes through the Pole's voice, so you can, it'll take out anything behind it as well. Okay, now we can go left. And you want to push this block along to the left so you can get down the door. And you'll fight a couple of Gomas. You probably could have predicted this one since you get the bow in this place. Luckily it's only a couple of Gomas, so not that big an issue. So you can just kind of stall at the bottom and easily take out the Gomas. Alright, so yeah, this is only our second piece of Triforce, so got some catch-up work to do later on. Alright, now we can go to this cave we saw up here. We can actually do something with it. Another 3-room below ground chamber. The reason you want to wait on this is because, yeah, there's a lot of Pole's voice in this place. You can do this early on, but having a whole room of Pole's voice, you're gonna have no room to dodge anything. It's a lot safer to have arrows with you. And after you take out everything in this room, you can claim your prize. Another heart piece there. And nothing else in this room. Alright, so level 5 is actually a bit of distance away, so I might actually cut this part a little short. It's gonna take a little while to get to where level 5 is. So I'm just gonna take a break. I'm not gonna go back to the Palace of Treasures because the item there is probably, not necessary at this time. So we're gonna take a break at this point, and next part we will probably just do some scouting outside. Now that we have a bow and arrow, we can move on. Alright, see you guys later.